Hello everybody, this is the Rabid Hedgehog and I'm here at the House of Kawasaki at 10th and Council. I'll put the full address in the comment below. And today I'm taking out the Kawasaki Z125 Pro. The little Gromakowski, or whatever you want to call it. Gromakowski, Kawagramski, however you want to call it, call it. This little thing, I'm already laughing. I just pulled out of the parking lot. It's so funny. It's so quiet too. At any rate, just kind of looking over the bike. Simple bike. You got your horn on the left here, of course your turn signals, and then your bright and selector switch there, and you know, nothing special over here. Then you got your start stop and of course your starter switch itself. I am super tall for this bike. But I love it. Oh, this thing has a fairly good downshift, or a very good engine braking for such a small engine. At any rate, looking down at the dash, that's bright, neutral, service engine light, turn signals, then you got your odometer, and then a digital speedometer, gear indicator, 4 gears altogether, an analog tachometer with a battery warning light there. Other than that, fairly simplistic. I can't stop laughing. It's just so fun. I don't know why. Get these mirrors where I can see. There we go. Mirrors are actually fairly adequate despite the fact that the bike is so tiny. Oh, I'm already in fourth. Feels like I need another gear. This thing. Now, like I said before, I am 6 foot tall. I have a 32-inch inseam. I have a very long trunk is what gives me the height though. And when I'm riding this thing, I mean, there's got a little place for your knees to tuck into, but I can't get in there because my legs are actually too long. I'm actually on the side plastics on the tank, so I'm not quite able to get in there and tighten up. It's a little uncomfortable, but you know, there we go. What I'll do is, I've got those big 14 feet too, so I'm going to just push them to the back of the pegs here, and that way I can actually fit onto the tank better. There we go. See, I got that there. I'm basically on my toes right now, to be honest, on there. So, oh yeah, this thing has very good engine braking. Just, you don't have to put much steering input into it at all. It just turns. Yeah, I mean, if you just do any sort of counter steering, I mean, you could just take your hands and just do this and you just start dancing around. You can steer with your hips, you can steer with your arms, you can steer with anything that you're used to steering with. It's gonna go because it's just so tiny and nimble. I've never got to ride a Grom, and I want to try one of the Groms as well, but nobody in this area unfortunately lets them go out the door. But Eddie at the House of Kawasaki is a good guy. I've worked with him before, bought a bike from him before. Great man. And he let me take this one out today, and I appreciate him for doing that, because I'm looking for a little track bike, just something to buy cheap and turn into a cheap track day bike to take out and flog around for a day or so. That would be pretty cool. This is so funny. Now, okay, and I forgot to say, right here, this is your selection for your odometers, trips A and B, and then your regular odometer as well. Then there's your reset button down there. Now, when it comes to it, I could sit way back on this thing too, and it helps it. I can sit forward on it, and I'm still higher against the tank. But this does not steer that bad at all. I mean, it's weird. I mean, I'm so tall on this bike, I don't even realize that there's a bike below me unless I look way down. It's super weird sensation. It's like the closest you're gonna get to flying without an airplane. It's just hilarious. I like it. I can't see the mirrors at all when I'm looking straight up just to ride. I just know that I'm being propelled by something. And I love it. the feeling on this bike is actually really good. The little 125 that it has is like perfect. I mean, yeah, it doesn't have the most power in the world, but it has really good throttle response for what it's worth. It is buzzy in the peg area, but it's not very buzzy in the handlebar area at all. It feels really good. Like I said, the steering on this thing is really adequate because, I mean, it's so small to begin with, but it's got really short and thin tires on it, and it just leans over like super quick. I mean, you could sit there and drag a knee if you want to on this bike super easy and actually be confident with it. To me, it's a great looking bike too. I mean, yeah, it looks like the last generation Grom. I know they're coming out with a new one with the double headlight that I'm not too fond of, but I like the way the old Grom look, and that's why I like this one too. It's got the Kawasaki flair to it. It looks like an angrier version of the Grom, and I'll post pictures of that, but I really think it's a good looking bike. I really do. It's just so weird. And surprisingly, I mean, it really is not that uncomfortable of a bike at all. It's surprisingly super comfortable, despite the small stature of it. I'm really impressed with it. I think it's hilarious. Lake Overholser looks beautiful today. Just riding around. I bet you can't even hear this thing. Let's see. Thing just makes no noise, and it's so simple. I don't even feel like I'm steering. I feel like the bike just can naturally go through the corners. I really am enjoying this little ride right now. Fun little bike. Like I said, it's surprising that the engine braking is super adequate. And the clutch on this thing is super light too. I mean, you could sit there and you'll see one little finger and you're good to go. I mean, you don't have to do anything. Transmission, solid little 4-speed, goes in and out real easily. Really well put together bike. First year bike for this as well, for the United States at least. And it's just super well put together. I just like the way this thing feels. I mean, I'm surprised it's not as buzzy as I was expecting for this to be. It's just perfect. It just cruises just perfect. I mean, this is what this is for. This is just a little urban cruiser that you can take out and play around with and just run around the city, and it's just perfect for this use. It just goes through the turns so easily. It's perfect for this speed. It doesn't require very much input, and just comfortably goes around the corners, comfortably rides around. This is just beautiful. I'm in love with this thing. I mean, I come from bikes that are much bigger and much faster, but this one's got a lot of character, and it's just charming. It's the best way to put it. I'm actually just so relaxed right now and grinning. This is just like the perfect motorcycle to do this, you know, run out to the lake, run around the roads near the lake, and, you know, play around in the city and take it to a track day every once in a while once you modify it. It's just a beautiful little bike to do that with. I mean, yeah, it's not going to get that fast. I think the fastest that these things can go is around 65 miles an hour, and that's with the wind behind your back and you didn't eat much for breakfast. So that's one downfall, is it's not going to be exactly the fastest thing in the world, and it's not going to actually get you on the interstate, because most of your areas only allow 250 plus on the interstate. So I know some people take them on the interstate, but they're not really supposed to be there. I know you can modify them to the point that it's possible that they can get there, but, you know, if it's stock form, I don't recommend it. I recommend this exact duty right here, just rolling around through the neighborhoods, rolling around through the city, doing some really quick errands on it, and then just taking it out and enjoying it too. This is just a bike that you can sit there and enjoy the fuel mileage. I mean, you can just ride around in the city, get about 80 miles to the gallon or so, and just enjoy a day of riding slowly. And I'm quite enjoying this right now, to be honest. I'm enjoying this more than I thought I would. I really was not expecting to like this bike this much. I was just expecting to get something that I'd flog around at a track and not even care about the comfort, because I'm not going to use it all. But this is something I don't want to ruin. It'd be one I'd buy and still make it where it can do the track stuff, but also keep it where it can handle the street just fine too. It's just magnificent. There's nothing else to say. It's just beautiful. So if you guys are looking for a lightweight, fun little bike to buy, I know the Grom is out there, and I know that a lot of people love the Grom. This is my first time on one of these little mini bikes, and I love it too. I mean, I could see why this is a growing segment, and why Kawasaki, who has to be #1 at everything, came through and built this bike, because this is just a delightful way to cruise around for a day and enjoy just riding around, not particularly fast or not particularly anywhere, but just enjoying a fun little bike that's simple, elegant, and beautiful. At any rate, this is the Rabid Hedgehog. If you have any questions regarding the Kawasaki Z125 Pro, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer those questions for you. If you want to go ahead and pick one of these up and you're in the Oklahoma City area, I do recommend coming out to the House of Kawasaki and speak with Eddie. Tell him Rabid Hedgehog sent you. Like I said, I've worked with him quite a bit, and I respect these guys. They don't do anything that forces you into a bike, and that's what I like about them. They're just real easygoing guys, and they take care of their customers really well. And like I said, I'm a previous customer of them. I'm not paid to endorse them either. I just like them that much. They've done very well for me in the past, and they put their bikes together well and treat you well after the fact too. They've been around for, gosh, since 1972. So, you know, it's got to say something that they're doing right. Keep that shiny side up, folks. We'll catch you on the next review. Have a good one.